Hello, friends. Hi. Hello, everyone. Hi. Hope you're doing well. My name is Marina Shepelsky. I'm a U.S. immigration attorney for 23 years, and we are here to talk about all things immigration law in U.S. I do not sponsor personally anyone for a visa to come and live and work in US. I don't sponsor for jobs right away in case you had a question about that. So I am here to talk as an attorney about immigration news and other information that's going around America, US, having to do with immigration, what's going on, with the politics, with the government, everything that has to do with immigration. Hello to my friend M. Hassan, S4V. I will get to your question shortly, but I always begin my show by talking a little bit about myself and why I have a right to speak to you guys about, immigration, why I do this kind of work, and I'm here to help with immigration law in US. So I'm just going to give a couple of minutes for more people to join. 1 second. Turn on Do Not Disturb. Turn on Do Not Disturb. All right. Hi, everyone. Hello. Welcome to my show. 1 second. Turn on Do Not Disturb. Okay, sorry about that. I'm back here with you guys. I just had to turn on my Do Not Disturb thing because people are calling me on my phone. And I forgot to turn it on. All right. So, as promised, a little bit about myself. I'm an attorney in America for 23 years. All right, I'm back. Sorry about that. Hi, everyone. If you can see me and hear me, drop a comment and say where you're watching me from. You're going to let me know that you could see me. Thank you, by the way, for your attention. I had like a technical issue with my StreamYard, but it's now back. Thank God. Okay, so I'm an immigrant as well. That's why I do this kind of work. And I'm here because my parents brought me here from Ukraine, and I'm an immigrant who grew up here, and I'm very invested in immigration and the immigrant community. And I'm here to help people become citizens. Hi, everyone on LinkedIn. My name is Marina Shepelsky. Thank you for joining me for my live that I'm doing here every week. Sometimes every other week. I was away on vacation last week, so I missed you guys, and I'm back. I'm an immigrant myself, as I said. I came from Ukraine as a teenager, and I've been living in New York until I was in my 20s when I moved and lived in Staten Island, and then eventually in my 40s to New Jersey. So that's where I live. Our office is in Brooklyn and Manhattan. I love immigrants. I think immigrants should get a break under this administration. And I'm here to talk about, how to get citizenship, but also, feeling depressed at this time. And I'm here to support you guys, to give you some emotional support and let you know people are still, uh, getting green cards no matter what is happening. Okay, so um, let's get into our news. But also, I wanted to tell you today, I made like a list and tell you about it of what documents you need to carry with you in America to show to ICE in case you do get stopped what your status is. I'm sorry that I'm doing this. I'm upset that I even have to do this because it is not a constitutional entitlement to the government to ask for immigration questions. But since this is the reality of 2026 and this administration, I'm here to give you the tools you need so that if you are in America and you get stopped by ICE, you have the right documents and you can show your status, okay? I will be answering your questions soon, but for now, I'm just saying hello, Joy Sadoka. Hi. And Joy says greetings from Oklahoma. Thank you so much. Please drop in the comments where you're watching me from, and I'm going to give you a nice shout out. Um, I have your comments from Instagram on my screen and my computer, but I have my phone for going live, so bear with me. If I'm you, it doesn't mean that I'm not putting your comments. Thank you for your questions. Drop them. I will get to them shortly. Okay? Put them in the comments. Okay, so let's talk about the U.S. immigration news. The first thing is that the Trump administration has made a decision to pull back from Minnesota, that they announced that they are reducing ICE staff in Minnesota by 700 agents. That's the biggest news this morning. And the border czar, the director of ICE and the Border Patrol, which, by the way, you guys, ICE has very limited jurisdiction. They're supposed to work at the border. That's why this guy is the border czar, Tom Homan. He announced today that the administration's goal was to achieve a complete drawdown in the Twin Cities. They've achieved whatever they had to achieve. They are cooperating with all the local counties. The local counties agreed to let them know when somebody criminal who doesn't have status is about to be released, and they will come in and take that person and deport them. But for now, they are drawing back. They're reducing the amount of ICE ICE agents in Minnesota, and they're stepping back because of the huge public outcry and the citizens that are saying enough is enough. They also fired Border Patrol Commander at Large Gregory Bovino, who was often present in all of these violent encounter situations with U.S. citizen protesters. He was there for the arrest of immigrants, and he apparently did a bad job. That's why they took him to Central California, to the border office, and it looks like he's going to be retiring soon. And that's probably because they allowed two people who are citizens to be unalived, okay, no longer alive because of them, poo-pooed them in the streets of. Also, in the news this week is that after congressional questioning, the Minister of Department of Homeland Security Secretary, she's called Secretary Kristi Noem, said all ICE agents will be wearing body cameras now, so whatever they do will be filmed going forward, just like in all states the police officers do. So that's a good thing. We're all happy about that. That's good news this morning. And also in immigration related news, the federal agents, federal authorities, not ICE, the federal criminal agents, arrested former CNN anchor journalist by the name of Don Lemon on Friday because he went and covered a church protest by U.S. citizens who went into a church in St. Paul, Minnesota, and protested because one of the pastors in the church was ICE-filled with directives. So they said it's duplicity, it's hypocritical, that this guy is working for ICE, that it's like in the church, a pastor, people like that shouldn't be in ICE, shouldn't be pastors. He was there, Don Lemon, and he was part of the protest, but his argument was that he was covering it professionally and he was doing a live stream from there. Well, he was arrested for being in the protest, for violating religious freedom of the people in the church, for trespassing, and so on. A judge in Minnesota refused to sign his arrest warrant, so they got the Attorney General, Trump appointment, to sign it, and they arrested him. I don't think he will stand up for it, but we shall see. Okay, so that's the biggest news this morning. We are seeing the fallout of the 75 countries banned by the Trump administration. Many people are starting to think about what that means. And many people are realizing that jobs and fields like nursing and some other fields like people who get, you know, like farm workers who come here on a permanent basis and other jobs will be suffering because 75 countries is a lot and there will be a shortage of professionals in those fields. And so, that's also in the news today. What else? I think that's all I had for the news this morning. Also, I wanted to tell you guys that people have joined, and I want to give you some shout outs. Hi from Rangala 138. Hello. Hi from Sikandar. Rangala wants a job. As I mentioned in the beginning, I don't do that kind of work. Alina Roshan says, can I apply before the 3 years of my green card if my visa is approved and I work in traffic? No, you have to wait to turn for what visa is current. All right. So the other thing I wanted to talk about is to let you know what documents you need to carry with you to be safe in case you do get stopped by ICE and you want to show that you have legal status in US. Okay. Let's get into what documents you should be carrying on your person around America, being an immigrant in America, to make sure that you have proof of your immigration status and what you should carry if you don't have any status. Whether you are a green card holder or you have a legal status that you have a work permit or a visa, or you're waiting for an immigration hearing in court, it helps to know what official documents you should carry on you to prove your status in ICE status. Carrying the right paperwork can make interactions with ICE agents and other authorities smoother and reduce tension and confusion. Here is a very simple explanation of what you should carry with you if you are an immigrant in America and you don't have citizenship yet. If you have citizenship, you probably should carry your passport original with you and or the passport card. You can get a plastic American citizenship card and carry that in your wallet like you do your driver's license. Yes, you should, because practically speaking, you could get asked that, anything. Now, first of all, if you have valid immigration status in the US, here's what I recommend you carry. Like if you are a green card holder, your original green card, your plastic resident card should be in your wallet. Copies, you can have them, but they're not enough. You're going to want to see the original. Your employment authorization document, your EAD work permit, you should have the original plastic unexpired card. If you file for an extension and you're waiting for the extension, You should have the letter that you filed for extension on you, original, and the your I-94 arrival record to show that you entered legally and you have a stamp from the airport CBP. You should have that on you. If you have a visa in your passport, you should have your passport with a visa. And if you have status that you got a change status in US that's giving you the legal status, you should have your original USCIS approval notices on you or receipt notices showing you're waiting to file for something. For example, you filed for asylum, you filed a petition for non-immigrant status, anything like that, you should have on you. Originals are always best, but in addition to that, you should have a physical and a digital, like a scan copy with you. Now, if you're in court, you're in removal proceeding, and you have a hearing coming up, you should have your notice to appear on you. It's a document, which is usually like the first document the government gives you that says you're required to appear in court. In addition, any new hearing notices that you have that shows you're waiting for hearing notice. Yes, and then any type of filing you did. If you filed an asylum application, cancellation of removal, and you have a USCIS receipt notice, you should have it on you too to show that you filed for a defense for deportation, and you should have like your family, your friend, somebody you trust, have a full copy of the whole application on them, right? So you should be able to access that if you need to. Next, even if you don't have any status, you should have your state issued ID, driver's license on you. Some people have a city or municipality ID card, like New York City ID card, and tribal ID if you have that. Now, if you don't have status, you're here kind of illegally, do not carry your passport with you. I don't recommend it. Do not carry your birth certificate on you because you'll just make it very easy to deport you very quickly. Okay? Instead, have these safely at home with a trusted person, and in case you need it, have a copy available. Other helpful documents, helpful to have on your person, but not required, is your original Social Security card or ITIN number assignment, your marriage license, birth certificate with English translation, receipt of approval notices for any immigration applications, copies of past legal filings, and have paper and scanned copies somewhere like easily accessible. Know your rights when you're stopped. You may remain silent. You don't have to answer any questions. You can if you want to, but you don't have to. You can ask ICE officer if you're free to leave. If they doesn't look like they're detaining you, don't give them a reason to keep you. Ask them, am I free to leave? You do not have to open your door to ICE agents if they don't have a judge-signed judicial warrant to enter the home. They like to sign their own warrants. That's not constitutionally legal, okay? And you can ask to speak to a lawyer right away, okay? So if you have children who are citizens, and this is like a horrible conversation that I'm having with you guys, but this is what I do, so I want to be helpful, okay? If you have US citizen children and you're worried what happens to them if you get deported, you don't want your kid to go with you, you should prepare just in case, especially if you are illegal here, okay? A standby guardianship, a power of attorney. You should pick the person, you should talk to them, you should have that person added to your kids' blue cards or whatever it is, like paperwork in the school of the kids, who is allowed to pick them up, who is allowed to take them home. And, you should definitely have a medical consent form allowing them to have, medical care for your child. And they should have a copy of your kid's birth certificate, US passport, social security, all that stuff. You should also consider having a lawyer in your area. So if you live in Michigan, in your county, find a lawyer that handles custody, divorces. They deal with kids and divorces. They will put this together for you people who do guardianship. They will know what you need for this type of stuff to have a standby guardian appointed. Do not assume that the local authorities automatically will give your kid to your family. If you don't have anything in writing, they may just put your kids in foster home. Therefore, foster care should be avoided, and therefore you should have something in writing, not a verbal agreement, not an informal letter, not like anything like that. You have to have a written document saying you chose your cousin, your aunt, your mom, your dad, whoever has citizenship here from your family. And in the worst case scenario that you were deported and your kids should stay here, who will be taking care of your kids locally? Okay, that's all I had for my lecture today. I'm going to get into answering your questions. Good morning, and let's get into your questions. MH Hussein for S4B. Good morning from New York. Hello. If my BAWA approval is under deferred action, then why do I get it? I never got a notice for that. I only have a BAWA approval notice, but never received deferred action. What do you think? Sometimes you have to request a letter of deferred action. They, at some point, stopped giving it automatically. So your lawyer can write a letter asking for like a notice of deferred action for you. Naresh Kumar says, how long will it take to get a new visa? I applied in January 2022. Right now, it's taking 5 to 6 years. Okay. Damian Thompson says 98 days after my I-485 interview, now case went from case being like he's looking at the USCIS status in his account, and he sees that his I-485 went from case being actively reviewed to now change status. The case is still being processed. What does it mean for the Atlanta field office? It just means they need more time. And hello to Joyce Adoka. Your questions from Instagram. Samir Patel wants to know how long he will have to wait for his asylum I-589 interview. It could be years and years. I don't know how many. I'm sorry. Rakesh says hello from India, and he is from. His name is Rakesh Chauhan from India. Ravi 14 says hi, ma'am. I used to work on a cruise ship. 14 years I worked there, and I'd like to see a land-based job in hospitality. Unfortunately, we do not help with jobs. As I said in the beginning, maybe you missed it, I'm just an attorney. If you have a company to sponsor you, I can help with the paperwork. Yasin wants to know if I'm from Russia. I'm from Ukraine. I was born in Ukraine, but I live in America since 1989. Jackson says, shake it. Ooh, I shake it. Maria Margolich, my fan here, thank you for watching me in English, says, if asylum is approved, should TPS renewal applications be withdrawn or just leave it as is? I recommend to, by the way, congratulations if your asylum was approved. I would write them a letter and say that you no longer need TPS, you were approved for asylum, and a copy of your approval notice, and do withdraw or ask them to close your TPS application. Jackson wants to know why my right boob is smaller. I think it's just the way I'm sitting. So don't worry about my health if that's what you worry. Thank you for your very important question. Okay, Joyce says, I have a friend who just had their notice, like their status in their online USCIS account changed, that I-485 case was transferred and her new office has jurisdiction. What does it mean, and what happens to her VAWA I-360 and her I-765? So all of these forms, the I-360, the I-485, and 765, have different offices processing them. So they transferred her green card application, I-485, to make sure it goes faster to a different office, and she will receive a letter about it. Okay, so that is all I had to say. Gurvinder says hello. Um, how are you? Jackson says USA sucks and you killed the Red Indians. I'm not from here. I was born in Ukraine, but thank you for your comment very much. Manoj Kukshal says better call Shepelsky. Oh my God, thank you for spelling and knowing my name. I appreciate that. Thank you. All right, that's all I had for today. Thank you for listening. I will have this recorded and on my account. So if you missed this, or if you're coming in later and you missed the beginning, I talked today about immigration news. I talked about what documents you need to carry on you if you're in America and you're worried about ICE stopping you. Thank you, everybody. Have a blessed week. I'll see you in 2 weeks. Bye bye.